Darrell Jazz Johnson here, Fathers and Sons Magazine, MSG Varsity, RazzandJazzSports.com. Here with the great Stephen A. Smith, the most knowledgeable man, in my opinion, and the opinion of many others when it comes to all things NBA. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
Good, thanks. Quick recap. Had a bad 24-hour period in New York City with the Brooklyn Nets losing in Game 7 Saturday night, and then the New York Knicks coming out here on Sunday night and admitting that they didn't come out with the right energy and losing to the Indiana Pacers in Game 1. Can you recap the Nets ending of the season in the first game here?
Well, first of all, let's just get the Nets out of the way first. They proved to be a soft team that's got a lot of things to prove. The only thing positive about them right now is the fact that Billy King is their general manager because he's hardcore. He knows a soft team when he sees one, a soft team when he has one. Obviously, he expected more from them. We all did. And they just proved to be relatively soft. Now, in fairness to them, the Chicago Bulls can do that to anybody, to most teams anyway, and we understand that. But considering the fact that Luol Deng was out and Kirk Heinrich was out and Taj Gibson was just less than 48 hours removed from having chills on the bench, and Nate Robinson was just as much time removed from throwing up on national television, for them to come out and give that sort of putrid effort was incredibly disappointing. And the Nets are going to have a long, long off season. I don't overreact to Joe Johnson's performance simply because Joe Johnson usually shows up in big moments. The fact that he didn't is not something to overreact to. It's unfortunate that it was a Game 7, but he's won so many games in his career taking and hitting the big shots and showing up in the big moments. His problem is that he didn't show up the other times, a lot of times, during the process of a game. Right. But the big moments is when you can rely on him. So I know that's an aberration. But Darren Williams is a superstar talent that's got to play like a superstar. And he did no such thing. And that's going to have to change if the Nets are going to ever be what they aspire to be. As for the Knicks, I think people are overblowing it just a little bit. It wasn't like they came out and they were lazy and didn't try. It's just that the level of urgency wasn't there because they were less than 48 hours removed from being relieved, having saved their season by beating Boston and not having a Game 7 here at Madison Square Garden, which would have been as pressurized as it could be, considering the fact that they had a 3-0 lead. So I think it's overblown. It's nothing to overreact to. They just better win tonight, because if they don't win tonight, they're not winning the series.
Carmelo Anthony, he won Eastern Conference Player of the Month, had a great string of shooting the ball great, and now we've seen in the last 4 games, he's 45 of 110. That's under 36%, I believe. Do you think he's going to turn it around today? And the same question goes for J.R. Smith, who's shooting under 30% in his last 3 games.
Well, he better turn it around. Carmelo Anthony is 35 for 110 over the last 4 games. That is nothing short of pathetic. That's unacceptable. You need more from him because he's the franchise, and he's the guy you rely upon to deliver the goods so you can win the series. So he knows what he has to do. I think he'll come out here and he'll put forth a better performance tonight. As for JR, he's incredibly erratic, and a problem with that is that you have to encourage it. You have to encourage him to take chances because remember who his predecessor was. Somebody in Landry Fields who never took chances, who would literally show up in a playoff game in April and act like he was allergic to a basketball and wouldn't take shots. You can't have that at the shooting guard position. You need somebody that's going to be a threat, and that's what JR is. So I'm of the mindset that considering that reality, J.R. Smith, we got to hope that he plays better, but you got to let him be who he is. And if he's not producing, you got to put Iman Shumpert in there more because Iman Shumpert, whatever he gives you offensively, if it's a plus, fine. But if it's a minus, he makes up for it because he's so exceptional defensively. He's literally a defensive playmaker. He gets steals. He makes the right plays that disrupts your offense and makes things happen for your offense. So to me, I'm a fan of Iman Shumpert big time. I believe he should be getting more minutes, and I hope that he will.
Final question. Amar'e Stoudemire was cleared for 3-on-3 drills, might be going through a full contact practice in the next couple of days. What kind of impact do you think he would have on this series if he were to return?
Well, he's a viable offensive player. He gives you a little bit more than you had offensively. Also, he can score going to the basket, which means he can draw fouls, he can hit free throws, and plus he's got a nice little J. I think he does nothing for you defensively. But he does do something for you offensively, and there is a place for him. Could Amar'e come and give you a solid 10 to 15 minutes? I believe he can do that, particularly against the Indiana Pacers. But my thing with him is I'm so tired and so exhausted from him being unhealthy. And I don't wish that on anybody, but especially him, because he's such an incredibly nice guy and he worked so hard and he accepted the challenge of the bright lights of Broadway. I desperately, desperately want for him to succeed. And so I don't want him to get hurt again. I'd rather not see him at all than to see him come back out here and then be too hurt again to go at sometimes this series. I just don't want to see that anymore for him.
All right, thanks a lot.